Okay, welcome back, everyone. I was away for almost 2 weeks. מתחיל בגנות ומסיים בשבח. The Gemara said, how do you tell the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim? מתחיל בגנות ומסיים בשבח. Come, pull up a chair.
Sorry.
Okay. Page 295. So מתחיל בגנות ומסיים בשבח. You start with the negative, and you finish with the positive. Okay. It's a Gemara, and the whole Haggadah for Pesach is in the Gemara in Masechtas Pesachim. And actually, if you use a small font, you can actually print the whole version of the Haggadah for Pesach on 1 8.5 by 14 sheet. You actually have it somewhere. The Haggadah for Pesach is not so long, you know. It's the whole Haggadah, without the additional songs I'm talking about at the end, you know. So it says.
What page?
295.
No, but where is it in the Gemara?
In the 10th paragraph. It's so that's why we start off the Haggadah. We start speaking about where it says Mitzchila Ovdei Avodah Zara Hayu Avotenu. Right? We start off by talking about how our ancestors were idol worshippers, right? You know, and it was before Abraham Avinu and so on. And the Shem brought us close to him. So here's where he says, Eich misapchim et Haggadah. How do we tell the story of the Haggadah? And Mishnah Omeret, the Mishnah says, Shematchil b'gnut u'mesayem b'shebach. You start off with the negative, right? And so there are two opinions. If you look at the footnote number 4, so there's two opinions. One is, so the Gemara says, "My gnut." What is the shame? So Rav Amar Mitzchila of the Avodat Gilulim Hayu Avotenu, that once upon a time our ancestors were worshiping idols, and Shmuel Amar Avadim Hayinu, and Shmuel says that you start off by talking with Avadim Hayinu, right? That's why the Haggadah begins with Avadim Hayinu, right? Once we were slaves. Klomar, that means to say, says Reb Shlomo, we have to start with being aware of what a low place we were at before Hashem redeemed us. ולכן אנחנו פותחים בעבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים, and that's why we begin with עבדים היינו, that once upon a time we were slaves to Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, וגם מתחילה עובדי עבודה זרה היו אבותינו, and also the other version that we were once worshipping idols. וזאת תורה של סבי, and this is a teaching from my grandfather. סבי היה נוהג להדגיש. My grandfather used to emphasize, says Reb Shlomo, תראו Look at the difference between the Jewish people and the nations of the world. They also speak about how their nations began. And what do? In their stories, they always talk about their conquests. They don't talk about how they were at the bottom once. They don't tell you about the negative things about themselves. They say that the early leaders of their people, they were warriors, etc. We were a great nation, we conquered over here, we spread out over there. What do we even do? What do we relate? That once upon a time we worshipped idols. We were slaves to Paro in Mitzrayim. We were really low. And then we ascended. And now HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought us up to his service. This is so true. You realize that? And this is the truth about the lives of each one of us as individuals. On the one hand, we're starting from the high point, Kadesh. They say that the Seder begins with Kadesh, make Kiddush. Gewalt, kama anachnu Kiddushim, we're so holy. But that's from the perspective of the depth of the neshama, the mitziyut. But in reality, the story is not so simple. The story begins from below, from the lowest. But once we say Kadesh, it becomes clear to me that even if I'm the lowest person in the world, I'm going to get out of it. Okay? Right? So, this very much relates to your work. Right? With the work that you do with the girls.
Yeah.
Huh?
Teens,
Yeah. So the Indian is like this, and Ziva always on Thursday, she'll kill me if I don't relate it with the parshat.
Not kill you. But
Okay.
I know that
She won't kill me.
my son just waits every week.
Yeah. Okay.
For me to.
So good. So here's how it goes. And since they didn't get on last week's parsha, so this is going to be a double header, okay?
Excellent. Oh, I'm so excited.
So last week's parsha was Parshas Yisrael, right? And this week is Mishpatim. What happened in Parshat Yitro? Yitro hears about. Yitro hears about what happened with the Jewish people, and he decides to leave his big estate. He decides to leave his whole, he was the Kohen Midyan. He was like this big guy, and he says, "No, I'm going to join the Jews in the desert." And then the Torah continues, and we get the Ten Commandments, we get the Torah, and then the last verse in the parsha is "V'lo ta'aleh b'ma'alot al-mizbechi." Don't walk up to my mizbeach b'ma'alot, with stairs. Asher lo tigaleh arvatcha alav, so that your immodesty should not be revealed. Right? That's why to the mizbeach there was a kebesh, there was a ramp. So that's because the Kohanim wore robes, right? So it's not very modest to pick up your feet so high walking upstairs, right? And it's very interesting. The Torah itself is telling us the reason. It's usually you don't find the Torah, don't do this because of this, It's interesting. And
that means that we should not use stairs, we should use the ramp?
But it's going up to the Mizbeach.
But in general, if they're saying
No. In general, it means it should be tzniistic, But right. But so it's a very interesting Rashi. Give me a Chumash that's on the top of the line flat. So it's a very interesting.
My mind is.
They wear robes. They don't wear clothing.
I understand that, but women wear skirts. So is that to say that now there's like an issue? I mean,
Wear
I
pants.
don't personally. No, forget wearing pants. But is that to say there's now an issue of walking upstairs, like according to the Torah?
There's
Like
no.
upstairs?
It's a specific mitzvah concerning the Mishbeach.
Okay. It's not anything else.
It's specific for the Kohanim walking up to the Mishbeach. Okay, but conceptually, but you have to understand that your mind is turning well. You have to understand that every mitzvah in the Torah is for every Jew, man and woman. How so? So the Bnei Yisachar, the Saranikud from Bnei Yisachar also, no? And who you are? No?
No.
Anyway, so the dinner, so he have a sefer there. I don't remember the name of the sefer right now, but basically he started to write a sefer on the 613 mitzvot. Bnei Yisachar, you heard about?
Yes.
So actually, you know what I heard they said about him? They say that he was able to write with both hands at the same time on two different topics,
Wow.
and talk to a person at the same time on a third topic. Multitasking
So like the extreme.
to the extreme.
Right.
And unbelievable. Okay? To write with both hands at the same time on two different topics. Anyway, so he started to put together a sefer, and either part of the manuscript was lost or he didn't get to finish it, where he's going through this 613 mitzvot. And what he does is he goes through each of them on the level of machshava, dibur, and maaseh. Thought, speech, and action, which is machshava, dibur, and maaseh are the three garments of the soul. Right? Now, what it means when we speak about the levushim, the garments of the soul, what it means to say is that you don't see an neshama, but you see it through its levush. You see it through its garments. You see the presence of the neshama through the garments, right? So garments are both concealing and revealing. Okay. So on the level of action, there's a difference between Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, man, woman, Katan, Gadol. On the level of Maaseh, right, there's a difference. I'm not a Kohen, so I don't do the mitzvah of the Kahanim. Understand? But on the level of Machshava and Dibur, there's learning the mitzvah and speaking about the mitzvah and understanding what the mitzvah is about. The mitzvah of a Kohen applies to me too. I have to learn it just as well, and I have to understand it just as well. Okay, and if there's something about this mitzvah that I can apply in my life, I have to apply it just as well. You understand? So in terms of what you were just saying, that yes, in other words, I'm the mitzvah of having a ramp going up to the altar is specific for the Kohanim in terms of Maaseh, in terms of action, but in terms of how to apply this mitzvah in my life, understand? So there's I don't know if you saw the last Rashi on the parshat there, on this verse, Rashi in Yisrael, you learned it? So Rashi says, make it like the Chaimer. It says that, and he brings a few of them. So he says like this, he says that, so the pasuk says that you're not allowed to build an altar from stones that were cut with metal, because with metal is used for killing, and a mizbeach is for saving lives, right? And then he says, right? So that by walking upstairs, you have to take bigger steps. So it's not so modest, right? Even though it's not a full exposure of your private parts, right? Because the Kohanim did wear pants, okay? Still, taking the bigger stairs, it's close to being to exposing yourself. And it's disrespectful to walk up that way. Okay? And you can make a kal v'chomer. Stones which don't have consciousness. So stones, does the stone know if it's in your house or if it's in a bathhouse or if it's somewhere like that, Still, Amrat Torah, Hoil v'yesh behem tzorech. The Torah says, since you need these stones for the Mizbeach, lo titnai, and bichlal you need stones. So lo tinag behem minhag bizayon. Don't be respectful even in front of the stone. So chavecha, your friend, shehu bidmut yotzrecha, who is created in the image of God, umakpid al bizyono, and he cares about his honor, alachatz kama v'kana, all the more so, make sure that you're not disrespectful to a person. Right? Okay? So,
I have a lot of questions on this, but I'm going to wait till after.
please, but say it. But I want to hear them.
Right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I have my brain
Good.
likes these things, but
Okay,
we'll do it
so,
after the class.
yeah.
It's not
Okay.
really-
So the thing is like this. So there's a Hasidic word over here. Imagine that the Kohen is sitting there near the Mizbeach, comes a Jew with an animal for a sacrifice, and he says, what's this? He says, oh, this is a korban chatos, this is a sin offering. So he has to do vidur, he has to do confession. So he says, well, what did you do? So he confesses, I did such and such an avera, such and such a transgression. So it's possible that the Kohen might think to himself, oy vey, like, look at us here, look at us Yidden who live here around the base of Mikdash, or around the Mishkan, around Yerushalayim, we're okay, But look at what our brothers and sisters are doing out there in Chadera, or this place or that place. Look at the sins that they're doing. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, don't come up to Mahalot thinking that you're better than another Yid. Right? Asher lo tigaleh levatcha alav, don't show me how immodest you are, because it's a very immodest thing. Right? Now, so it's interesting. The opening of the parsha is about being humble to receive the Torah. But then, after you receive the Torah, the Yetzer Hara doesn't go home and say, "Oh, I'm out of business." Right? Vasev Satan milfanenu ma'acharenu. This I heard from your friend the Nicholsberger a month ago. Against him?
No.
So,
Not against any Jew.
so I didn't say against, I said against him.
Oh.
Against him.
Oh, against him, yeah.
Yeah,
You know him.
I know his son very, very well. You know his son.
Good. Anyway,
Very little.
yeah. Anyway, so I met him one day, the Nicholsberger. Actually, the first time I met him was when he was being Menachem over. The second time I met him, he was being Menachem over Reb Shlomo when Reb Eli Chaim was nifter. Anyway, so he was saying, huh?
What was it like?
Eli Chaim was Reb Shlomo's twin brother.
Oh.
Alav Shalom. So he told me this word that, we say in the Hashkivenu before the Shemona Esrei, and also Kriyat Shema Lamita. There's a paragraph there, Hashkivenu Avinu V'Shalom. So we say, and remove the Satan from in front of us and from behind us. So what's pshat in front of us and behind us? So when it comes to doing the transgression, the Satan comes and says, "Hey, I got something good for you. You've never tasted anything so good. Come on, eat it." Or boy, I got some good lashon hara for you. I got some, or hey, listen, this guy is a creep. He deserves that you should insult him, or something like that. And then, so the Satan comes to tempt you before doing a transgression. Then after the transgression, the Satan comes and says, "Listen, don't even bother thinking about doing tshuva. You're my customer forever." Right? Hashem will never forgive you. Just forget it. just keep on enjoying life and so on, right? That's when it concerning a transgression. Concerning a mitzvah, the certain comes in front of, before doing the mitzvah, the certain comes and says, you guys tina mitzvah, who do you think you are? You think you're so holy that you're going to do such a mitzvah, right? So don't pay attention to him. Then you go ahead and you do the mitzvah, and then after the mitzvah, the certain comes and says, wow, you're so awesome. You're so great. Nobody's ever done a mitzvah as beautifully as you have, or this and that, right? So that's the Yishma Yisrael is at the beginning of the parsha. Be humble, go ahead, do it. Stop making, and then you get the Torah. And after you get the Torah, you might feel like I'm really special, So the parsha ends up saying, watch it. Don't think that you're better than somebody else, because even that lowest yid that you think is the lowest yid, when Hashem said, Anochi Hashem Alekecha, I am Hashem your God who took you out of Mitzrayim, Hashem said that to that yid no less than he said it to you. That's the word from the Bible. Hashem said, Anochi Hashem Alekecha, to that yid no less than to you. So how with this week's parsha? This week's parsha begins with Eved Ivri, a Jewish slave. What happened? Who's a Jewish slave? A guy went and he stole. He can't pay back what he stole. He can't pay back the kefil. He can't pay back the double. So the best thing sells him as an Eved, which, by the way, you should realize that, as terrible as it is, that if the person who buys the Jewish slave, if he has only one pillow, guess who gets to sleep on it? It's the slave. So everybody's asking the question, wait a minute, what's going on? Last week we're standing at Har Sinai, and this week we're dealing with thieves and slaves and crimes and so on. What happened? So the word is that if the people in the upper echelons are looking down at the people on the lower levels, that's where it begins. In other words, when the people in the upper echelon and the higher madrigas look down on the lower Yidden, they're actually committing a theft. What's the theft? They're robbing their self-esteem.
Can you remember that?
Can
you remember that?
Right?
Metaphor.
It's like saying, who needs you?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think you, who, and it's like, what do you call it? It's like Reb Shlomo once told us from the Zohar that lo tirtzach, don't commit murder. You're standing at Har Sinai, and I ask you, before Hashem gives the Torah, and I ask you, do you think, it's okay, it's bothering you, no?
No, I want to.
You can bring it closer. Do you think that Hashem is going to tell us not to commit murder? Right? And you look at me and you say, Boker Tov, where are you? You're standing here at Mount Sinai. Do you think Hashem needs that? Do you think Hashem needs to tell you don't commit murder? Right? So what's pshat? We're on such a high madrega at that point. Why did Hashem have to tell us don't commit murder? It's obvious, don't commit murder. So Reb Shlomo explained that according to the Zohar, there's different levels. One level is the street level. Plain and push it, don't go and murder somebody. Another level, on a higher level, is don't embarrass anyone in public. Right? If you embarrass someone in public, it's as if you committed murder. Right? Why is it called Malbin Pnei Chaviro? Malbin means you're making his face white. Usually when somebody gets embarrassed, they're all red. But the truth is, you know why they're red? Because first your face goes white. And then the blood rushes back. So that's why it's red. But the idea is that when somebody gets embarrassed, at that moment, the person feels like I'd rather be dead. Right? So it's a form of murder. On a higher level, don't take your anger out on anyone. On the highest level, don't even ignore anyone. Because when you're ignoring somebody, It's like saying, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, you're dead. Chas v'shalom, right? So there's different levels of Tzach, right?
Okay.
And the same thing over here. If the people in the upper echelons, this is what was going on before the Baal Shem Tov, before the rise of Hasidus, is that there was a huge division between the scholars and the ordinary Yidden. And the ordinary Yidden, to an ordinary Yid back in Europe in those days, being a Jew was like, they had no education. And all they knew was that being a Jew means that the Goyim might attack anytime. You know? And but in the eyes of the Talmidei Chachamim, they were like, who are you? Right? So when that happens, then you're going to end up having to deal with thieves and epidivri and so on. Understand? And there's an expression in Yiddish, from wie stinkt der fish? You know it? Where does the fish stink from? From the head or from the tail? You guys never shopped for fish. I'm telling you, go. I'm telling you.
The whole thing smells wrong.
No, but where does it start? If you go see, watch the old ladies. Go watch the old ladies buying fish. If there's still a few of them around to know how to do this, they'll smell before they pick up the fish and they smell the head.
Yeah.
So it's a metaphor. Where if something's wrong in society, where does it stink from? It doesn't stink from the bottom. It stinks from the top. Understand? And so that's the connection between the two parshas. Understand? And there's a story about, in Chabad, how before iPhones and before photocopiers, when the Rebbe gave a talk, how did it get distributed? Right? Huh? What?
Beepers.
Beepers, right?
Yeah.
Before beepers, before there were people who would memorize. They're called chosrin. They would memorize the teachings, right? And right, and they would travel around to the communities and chazer over word for word what the Rebbe said. So there was one young man by the Mittel Rebbe that he was great at doing it, and he stopped doing it. So when he came back to the Rebbe again, so the Rebbe asked him, "Why did you stop?" So he says, "Because I'm telling you, Rebbe, I was very good at it, and people so much appreciated it, and I would get all these compliments, and then I would have to deal with my gaiva, I would have to deal with my being haughty and boastful, and it was just too much." So the Rebbe told him, "So it's to stinken as every Zibbale, aber Chassidus was to Chazir." So you can go ahead and stink like an onion, but you still have to continue going around and reciting the Chassidus, because that's what your talent is and that's what your job is. So when I told this to Judy, so Judy said, "Yeah, we'll just hold our noses while you're teaching."
Woo! Judy.
Okay? So, you understand? In other words, you can give me Torah,
Wow, so that is really
and I know, and I might not want to listen to you because the way you're teaching it, I mean, it could be that, because of your bad midot, that it's coming along with a bad fragrance. So you have to give over the Torah, and I'll hold my nose. You understand? In other words, I still have to learn. I can't say I'm not learning by you because it doesn't smell good. I still have to learn Torah. Right? So that's the connection between Parshas Yisrael and Mishpatim. Okay?
There's the flip end of that too, where you have to, the person giving it over also has to, there's a certain avoda within that as
Of
well.
course, he has to do avoda. He has to stop stinking.
I also think there's an element also of if the person stinks too much, you shouldn't be learning their Torah.
Definitely.
Like
The Gemara
It's
says
not just
No,
there are a lot of Rabbanim who do a lot of not good things.
there's
I
no.
don't
I agree with you 100%, and you're 100% right. Even though I agree with you, you're still right.
Got lucky on that.
Well, it's
Okay,
not an excuse not to spread Torah.
it's not an excuse not to spread Torah, but it's not an excuse. If this guy stinks, go find another teacher. You understand?
Okay.
Go find another teacher. I'm just saying, but don't say I'm not going to learn.
If you stink, go clean yourself.
And you think you better clean yourself up, right? Don't say I'm not going to teach. Clean yourself up. Brush your teeth. Okay. So the Indian is that
Connecting the two parts.
back to so that you saw already.
Right.
So now going back to what Reb Shlomo was talking about. So a Yid came by the Lubavitch Rebbe and he asked him the following question. He said, I was born into a totally non-religious family. If Hashem wanted me to keep Shabbos or kosher, so why wasn't I born into a family that's observant? Good question. So the Rebbe answered him and said that what you have to realize is that's not your starting point. Your starting point is before your neshama came into a body. It's a brayse Masechet Nedarim, Masechet Nida, Mashbi'in oto tehi tzadik v'al tehi rasha. And your starting point of coming into this world is that you were given an oath to be a tzaddik and not to be a righteous person and not to be a wicked person. Why did Hashem send you particularly to this family or to that family or whatever? That's Hashem's cheshbon. But that's not your starting point. Your starting point is not where did you land in this world. Your starting point is where were you just before you came into this world. Right? So on the one hand, Matchil Bignut Umisayim B'Shevach. Understand? You got to realize that you were like really low down, and thanks to Hashem that you were elevated. But you also have to know that before you started in this low place, Kadesh, that Be'etzem, you are Kadosh. Okay? And that's so. If you don't connect with that kadesh, right? If you don't connect that's my starting point. My starting point is over there. So then I'm going to say, well, yeah. Look at me. What do you expect of me? Like I was born in the slums, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So what's really the point? In other words, like, what's the point of saying, where we came from? Let's just say, now we're starting kadesh. Why would
because you have to know. So this is the whole thing. In other words, so there's a meditation that Dr. Rebbe teaches, and in the introduction to Shar Yichud Ve'emunah. So the Dr. Rebbe explains. He gives a meditation over there. He's talking about.
Amen.
By the way, a word of explanation why I'm wearing my talis is because I didn't finish Shachris yet.
I knew. I had a feeling.
I just didn't finish davening. I know everybody out there in the world, you should know, it's 20 past 1, and the man you're learning with right now didn't finish Shachris yet. Okay, but it's okay. We Hasidim, it's okay.
I wasn't
I learn 6 hours every day before Shachar.
I wasn't even thinking as that. How about your Torah? Okay.
That, of course.
Okay, I'm only kidding.
Listen,
But
I'm not a goy.
No.
So the
Seriously.
the meditation.
Yeah,
So the meditation is like this. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining over there. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "We have to Hashem Elokecha. You're commanded to love God." How could you command somebody to love God? You can't command love. How do you command it, right? Either you love somebody or you don't love somebody. What do you mean you're commanding it? So that's what it basically explains, that the truth is that every Yid has an embedded love for God within them. And so does pretty much every person. And we have to say, Hashem Elokecha, do those things that you can do that will bring out your love for God. Okay? So one meditation that he gives, which is applicable to all people, and that is, you love yourself, Baruch Hashem. Now, who is the self that you love? Who are you? Right? Now imagine you have to introduce yourself again and again. And every time that you introduce yourself, you have to say something that's honest, and you're not allowed to repeat anything that you already said. Okay, this is a very good exercise. So the first time, the second time that you're introducing yourself, fourth, fifth, sixth, you're still talking about something external about yourself, right? But once you get past all the external stuff, and I say, so who are you, right? Who am I? What we're all going to come to is the same place. I am a neshama.
That too.
Yeah.
A yid is also can be external, you understand?
Yeah.
Right? But the behind all that is I'm a neshama, okay? And if you meditate on that, and hopefully we spend more than a minute a day remembering that I actually have a neshama, that I am a neshama, okay? So then your life is going to be totally different. But go further in that meditation, and who is the I of that neshama? Who is the essence of that neshama? Who is my neshama? And what are you going to come to?
It came from Hashem.
It's not just it came from Hashem.
It is.
It is a
It is.
chelik elokam mimal mamish. It's a veritable part of Hashem. And if you meditate on that, then your mind is going to be blown, because Hashem is no longer just Hashem out there somewhere. Hashem is within you, right? And that's life-changing. And that, then you come to the realization that the self that you really love is your neshama. The self of the neshama is Hashem. And this is the natural embedded love that's within every one of us. And when Moshe Rabbeinu says we have to Hashem Elokecha, do the meditations, and you will see that, so that you can bring out your love for Hashem.
Okay, so let's say if you're dealing with someone who really doesn't believe in Hashem. So then what? Then you can't really. You can't do this really.
Tuesday night I was giving a talk to a group of Yidden.
Your coughing's gonna be wrong.
Okay.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Okay.
And this person says to me, and what if you don't believe in God? So I told her to somebody in the middle of this year, somebody said, excuse me, Rabbi, I don't believe in God. And Shlomo said to him, it's okay, the God that you don't believe in, I don't believe in either. Okay?
Can I say something? What if you don't love
Just 1
yourself?
second. This is also a good question.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to love yourself.
Although,
So,
can I answer that?
huh?
Can I answer it?
Yeah.
I think there's like a love we have to all have in ourselves as Hashem, but I think that also we're all one, but we're all individuals, and we're all sparks of God, and we have to tap into the spark that we've been given for ourselves, our own mission, which is partly love, but like we have to
Honor it.
like raise up the light that we have, because we're all part of God, and we have to like raise the part of the spark that like we've been given to do.
That's a Mishbpatim Torah, by the way. And Loti says that Shem Hashem Elokecha L'Shem. He explains it literally. Don't carry God's name in vain. How do you carry God's name? Hashem is the creator. Hashem gave you creativity. Don't let that creativity go to waste. Okay, so back to what we're saying is like this, that
Also,
one second, I got to get back to where I was. So where was I before you asked your questions, Eva? What's the last few words
you were
you're
talking
taking
about
notes?
meditation.
Yeah. So now Dr. gives a second meditation. The second meditation relates to the Matchil Bignut Misayim B'Shevach. Second meditation is like this. Now imagine somebody is like fell into a mud pit and like up to his neck and can't get out, or quicksand. And the king and his entourage are riding by, right? And the king sees him. And the king saves his life, but he doesn't just send somebody down the hill to go and get this guy. The king himself comes and takes you out of the mud. And not only does he take you out of the mud and save your life, he takes you to the palace and cleans you up and gives you a new set, right? Now, this is what Hashem did for us, right? We were down at the lowest levels of Mitzrayim, right? And Hashem comes, right? And Hashem comes and takes us out directly and cleans us up and gives us the Torah and so on, brings us into the palace and gives us his biggest treasure. If you meditate on that, and you will be bursting with love for God. Okay? And that's what we're learning here, is that the idea of starting this story of the Exodus by talking about how low we were, and that it is the whole point is to realize that that without Hashem giving us, without Hashem taking us out from Mitzrayim, we would just still be Abadim, right? So, but not just on that level. If Hashem wouldn't have revealed his wisdom to you, you would never know his wisdom. Whenever we're learning the word of Torah, we have to realize, wow, at this moment, Hashem, this is a divine revelation that Hashem is revealing something of his wisdom to us at this moment. And if we would realize that, we would be learning with Simcha the whole time. But we need to start off with Simcha and learn with Simcha and say, wow, we're going to learn something, that we're going to learn Hashem's wisdom now. And let's this is a great joy. Okay. So then why do you achieve that? Because sometimes we haven't cleaned up the schmutz that's getting in the way. So it's either the schmutz that's coming from the school or from the teacher or from my own. Understand? If I'm gonna ask you for a drink and my cup is filthy, no matter how good the drink is that you're going to pour into my cup, no matter how good it is, it's going to come to me through my schmutz, right? Fine. Okay. Baruch Hashem, we started again. Continue, okay, on Sunday. And I think we're going to be having Shalosh Shudas this week.
Nice.
Good. Have a good Shabbos.